read to self today. And good readers, they like to read books by themselves, right? We have our book boxes with lots of good fit books. Now, what are some reasons why readers like to read to self? Why is it important for us to read to self? How about you turn and talk to your other buddy? Why is it important to read to self? In what? What do we grow as? We grow as readers. How does it help you grow as a reader? When you're reading your book by yourself in the Daily Five, how does it help you grow as a reader? What are you doing? Can someone help Lisa out? What are you doing when you're reading to self that helps you grow as a reader? George? Helps you to learn new words. Brian?
Helps you to read better.
How does it help you read more?
By looking at the words with pictures.
Oh, you're reading the pictures. That helps you understand the words and understand what you read. So there's a lot of things. So reading to ourselves helps us to grow, and it helps us to grow in lots of different ways. What's another reason why we read to self? Giselle? Oh, so do you enjoy getting to finish reading a book to yourself and finding fancy words? So is it fun to get to read to self? I love reading books by myself. Do you guys love to read by yourself? I like reading books to myself more than I like watching TV shows, because I get really involved with the characters and I want to know what happens next. I get impatient. One of our fancy words. I get impatient when I'm reading books. I want to know what happens next. So it's really an enjoyable thing. It's fun to read to self. What are some other reasons why we read to self? Jonathan Reyes? Oh, so you're thinking about what it should look like in the classroom. Let's move into that. So when we read to self, the students have a special job and the teachers have a special job. Let's stop and think about what the student's job is during read to self. So everyone stop and think. Maybe visualize. Put a picture in your mind of what students do during read to self. What are you doing when you're reading to self in room 201? What are you doing? Play that mental image in your head. Play that movie. Think about what it looks like. If you know something that students should do during read to self, give me a thumbs up. What should students do during read to self? Mia, do you know something students should do during read to self? They should read. Should they read for just part of the time or the entire time? So you know something. So during read to self, students read the entire time. So we'll put that on here. Read the entire time. Students read the entire time. What does that look like if you're reading the entire time? What does it look like, Amarani? It looks like you're reading, so you have a book open in front of you.
Is your book upside down? Is your book shut? What does your book look like? Brian?
Open.
It's open and your eyes are on your book. What else does it look like when you're reading to self, or when you're reading the entire time, Olivia?
It could look like this, or it could look like a book open and reading by itself, not talking.
Oh, it sounds like you're not
So
talking.
what level would it sound like if we're reading to self? Giselle? Oh, I might hear the one when I'm reading to self. If I'm trying to sound out a word and I'm reading and I go, so you're allowed to sound out words while you're reading to self. Eric, you need to get in ready position. So when we read to self, students read the entire time. Their voices are at a level. What are some other things that students should do during read to self? Megan? Oh, so can you just pick books from the library or your friend's book box or from the floor? No. Where do we get our books from? We read books from our book box. Let's say and do that together. We read books from our book box. So what does that look like? If you're reading books from your book box, what does it look like, Lewis? People reading. So what should you have in front of you? A book, and what else should you have in front of you? A book box. Should you have Lisa's book box in front of you? Whose book box do you have? Lewis's book box is in front of him, and he's reading books from his book box. Okay? So when we read to self, we read the entire time. Our voices are at a level 0 or 1. We read books from our book box. What else do good readers do during read to self? Amarani? Oh, they keep bubble space. Why is it important for readers to keep bubble space? Layla?
So you don't see anybody.
Oh, so that you're only focused on your book and you're not getting distracted by everything else going on in the room? Why else is it important to keep bubble space, Leo? Oh, so you're sitting in your own bubble, right? Are you touching other people? No, what does it look like when you have bubble space? George?
It looks like you're not talking to anybody and just you reading.
It looks like you're not talking to anybody. What else does it look like when you have bubble space? Jose Lagunas?
Nobody's touching you.
And nobody's touching you and you're not touching anybody. You have bubble space. All right? I can think of one more thing that's really important for reading to self. And it helps you to make sure you're reading the entire time. Jocelyn?
Stay in one spot.
Oh, we stay in one spot. Let's say and do that together. Stay in one spot. Oh, I don't see or hear everyone saying that. Stay in one spot. Why should we stay in one spot? Daniel? Why should we stay in one spot? Should you be moving around when you're reading to self? Why not? Oh, because if I got up and started moving, am I reading? What am I doing? I'm moving around, I'm walking, I'm looking at other people. It would be hard to keep bubble space then too. You'd probably be getting too close to your friends and making it hard to read. What does it look like in room 201 when everybody is staying in one spot? What does it look like in room 201 when you stay in one spot? Heaven? If you were to pull up that camera and look at everybody reading to self, what would it look like in room 201?
It would look like everybody reading.
What else? Would there be a lot of movement? No, because everybody would be in one spot. Ms. Payette, you know, I thought of one more thing.
Oh, what?
They need to get started right away. That's really important after you check in. You get started right away. Why do we get started right away? Brian? Oh, so you have more time to read so you can finish the book, like Giselle was saying, how she gets impatient and she wants to get to that chapter book.
Yeah.
If you get started right away, then you can have more time to read and you're not distracting your friends.
All right. So when we are reading to self, these are things that we'll see the students doing. How about you turn and tell your elbow buddy what students should do during read to self? Turn and tell them. I like how I see the gestures. Why do you need to get discuss it with your group. You guys are not neat. So, what are some things you might do during it? Why is that All right. So what is something important you learned from your elbow buddy that you should do during read to self? George?
To keep bubble space.
Can you say it and show us? Keep bubble space. So let's say and do that together. Keep bubble space. What else should we do? Giselle? Let's say and do it together. Read books from your book box. What else should we do? Amrani? Get started right away. Ricardo?
Stay in one spot.
I like how you did the gesture with that. Stay in one spot.
I'm thinking of one more. Jonathan? Oh, read the entire time.
Great job using the gesture.
Victor? Oh. So this round, we're going to start with everyone practicing reading to self and doing these things to build our stamina. And after the round, we'll graph how long we've read for, but I want to see everyone getting started right away to build our stamina.
What will
Okay?
Miss Payette be doing? While all of you are working on your jobs, what will Miss Payette and Miss Hughes be doing? Megan?
So we'll be watching students build their stamina, right? Okay, so we'll help our students build stamina. What else do teachers do during the Daily Five, George? They work with the students. So this guy's strong, he has muscles. So we'll be working with students, like we might be doing guided reading, we might be doing book clubs, we might be doing word sorts, right, and introducing new word sorts. So we'll be working with students.